Hello, my name is Akash, and today I'm going to talk about red team versus blue team. So let's start. What is a red team? A red team, formerly known as Tiger Team, focuses on offensive security. It simulates the adversary's action to find vulnerabilities in the system, exploit them, and even bypass security measures if required to find possible entry points through real-world attack techniques. It checks the complete security of the organization from physical intrusion to social engineering to penetration testing. Now, let's look at the phases of red teaming. Here are the phases of red teaming. As usual, we start off with reconnaissance and then move on to compromising the system. Once we find a vulnerability in the system, we then access the system. We find softwares that we can use to escalate privilege, then do an internal reconnaissance of the entire system to check for other users and softwares installed. We move laterally to other users and install RATs to maintain presence. RATs are remote access Trojans, which help us maintain the foothold even after the PC is shut down or the system has been shut down. That's about it. That's the process of red teaming. Now, throughout the process, a constant documentation is done and to write down the steps involved in the process. Once this is done, we move on to to blue teaming. Blue teaming. The blue team focuses on defensive security and defense and response to all possible cyber attacks and threats, conduct investigations, create policies, and response plans to prevent imminent or ongoing attacks, monitor possible entry points for breaches, and trains employees. The primary objective is to protect data and system to avoid business disruption, detect breach, and prevent and mitigate breaches by implementing controls that keep an eye on business processes and cost effectiveness of the solution. Now, let's look at the phases of blue team. As you can see, the blue teaming starts off with assessment, risk assessment, that is, and where we try to find out all the possible risks that we have, the risk appetite, that is how much risk we can handle, and the current security exposure, like the things that we know are can be used. Then we document the desired state. We we look into policies and control procedures. We develop security offerings that are, we can improve particular softwares or we can safeguard it using different types or different firewalls and build up what one calls it as defense in depth. Once we are done with that, we do a gap analysis where we check the current state and the state after we are done implementing it to find is uh, are the processes that we developed functional enough to protect us from those risks, or are they not up to the standard. Then we implement it and check them again. This is a continuous process that we have to go through. Moving on to, these are some of the things that red team and blue team do. So we have phishing, social engineering, malware, ransomware attacks, physical security, remote access, data racks, and command and control, security misconfigurations, as we discussed, known vulnerabilities, weak configurations. Whereas in the blue team, we start off with awareness, fix of protocols, incident response plans and procedures, logs and seams, patch management, antiviruses, least privilege, manage keys securely, honeypots, etc. Now, let's look at a concept that involves both of them together, known as a purple team. This is just a concept, but in this case, members of red team and blue team work together and collaborate to improve the security posture of an organization. Sometimes there are cases where certain members of blue team or certain members of red team are not able to emulate or do the work of other teams. So in these cases, the purple team helps them work together so that knowledge of one can be passed on and help other team to work on that. So that's about it. Thank you. My name is Akash Seth. Here's my Twitter ID and my email address. You can find me here and we can have more chat on this.